Hi, my name's Kat Boyd and welcome to my YouTube channel. This week I'm going to be talking about the launch of RISE, Scotland's Left Alliance, which is happening this Saturday in Glasgow. So RISE is an electoral alliance and it's going to be standing on the regional lists in the Holyrood elections in May next year on an anti-austerity, pro-democracy ticket. RISE is the coming together of lots of different left-wing strands, and my hope is that it can realise the slogan of Podemos in Spain, in Scotland, and that slogan is 1 foot in the Parliament, 100 on the streets. And I'm really excited about RISE because we're trying to break from the normal parliamentary routine and build a truly open and democratic organisation. We want to build something that is answerable to its membership and to the movement on the streets, and something that is bound by its core principles: respect, independence, socialism and environmentalism. I think RISE has got an important role to play in shaking up what can sometimes be a sort of boring and tribal politics in the Scottish Parliament. Let's be honest, the SNP are going to win the election, but I think it would be a tragedy for our independence movement, which was so dynamic and so diverse, if the only real opposition to the SNP were the parties that were behind Better Together. I can understand why some people who are sympathetic to RISE might have some doubts about how to vote. I mean, is voting left tactically a good option? Isn't it better to vote SNP on both bits of the ballot paper in order to crush the life out the Project Fear coalition? Well, actually, I think that the way our voting system works, it makes tactical sense to vote for the smaller yes parties on the additional member system. So this is how it works. The more constituency seats that you get from the first part of the ballot paper, the less likely you are to get seats from the second part from the additional member system. So basically, giving your second vote to a party likely to win all the constituency seats could help the likes of Labour and the Tories sneak back in on the list vote. So the choice is, what sort of diversity do we want in our politics? Do we want one big SNP bloc versus one big unionist bloc? Or do we want genuine diversity, a vibrant Scottish Parliament that represents the yes movement that we built up over the last few years? I think RISE can be a genuinely positive force, unequivocally opposed to things like TTIP and fracking, supporting replacement of the council tax for a fairer and more progressive system. It can back things like social housing investment, and more, it can be vocally in support of a second referendum for an independent Scotland without Britain's monarchy, its pound or its NATO membership. But most importantly, for me, is that we can't lose sight of why something like the Labour Party was first created. The Labour Party was created to give a voice to working class people, to our trade unions and to our history. And if we accept that the Labour Party in Scotland isn't going to capture the popular imagination for at least a decade, having turned its back on its traditional and historic base, then where do our voices get represented? I think that there's still a need and still a demand for a radical, democratic and socialist programme to emerge from our working class movement. And I think RISE can give a voice to those type of arguments and to our movement. We should remember that some of the SNP's best and most celebrated policies, things like free school meals and no prescription charges, were the old flagship policies of the SSP. So I guess my message is this: you can have your cake and eat it. If you want Nicola Sturgeon as First Minister, you can have that. But you can have something else as well. Socialist voices with radical policies in the Scottish Parliament once more, rather than just that old Project Fear mob. During the referendum, we said that politics in Scotland had changed forever. Well, now we've got to prove it. If politics in Scotland ends up just being another SNP versus Labour battleground, then really we haven't moved on that much at all. I think RISE can help build that diverse rainbow parliament that we all want to see. I think Rise can come up with the radical policies that we can use to tackle poverty and inequality in the here and now, as well as prepare the ground for what's to come. So I hope you'll come along on Saturday and see what you think. And if you like it, I hope you'll be part of a renewed challenge against the status quo, a renewed challenge against austerity, and a movement for democracy in 2016 and beyond. So let me know your thoughts. Subscribe to my YouTube channel for more next week.